Welcome to the Life After Plus One podcast, where we turn life's lemons into delightful lemonade. Get ready for inspiring stories, uplifting conversations, and all the tips and tricks to rock your single parent journey with style. I'm your host, Leanne, and it's time to embrace the adventure of Life After Plus One. So, let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to Life After Plus One. I'm Leanne, your podcast host and your single parent mentor and coach. And welcome and hello to all the newbies out there that have joined us here at Life After Plus One. And just to refresh your memory, this is the place where we talk about anything and everything that's related to single parenting. Whether you're in the process of breaking up, you might be in a marriage and you're just worried about what to do next. This is a place for you where you're looking at co-parenting issues, where you're looking at getting back into the dating world, you're becoming a step parent. All these things that are related to being a single parent, that's what we discuss here, and this is the place for you if you're in that boat. So today I actually want to talk about getting rid of negative self-talk. Now, this one episode alone is not going to totally get rid of that for you. You're not just going to listen to this episode and go, yes, I feel perfect now. I feel like a brand new person. Well, hey, maybe you will, but it takes time. It's a gradual process to change your thoughts and the way you perceive yourself. But what I want you to get out of today's episode is just to waken up to the other ideas and to new ideas that are out there. And instead of focusing on the I can't, we're going to get you to look at, yes, you can. Yes, you fucking can. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So it's about getting rid of that negative self-talk. And for those of you who have just recently gone for a breakup, you probably feel it more. You might start questioning things like, was I not good enough? Why didn't they like me? What did I do wrong? You start doubting yourself. You start having all these questions like about yourself, about you as a person. Can you or could you have done something better? Could you have done something differently? Even though they might be the ones in the wrong, or they could have done something that were the ones to push the relationship to breaking point. And a lot of people still sit in that position where they're not the ones that have done something wrong, but they're still doubting themselves. Because when you're losing a partner, or when a relationship ends, it quite often leaves you thinking, am I not good enough? You get that abandonment issues. You get that, why am I alone again? Why am I being left? Why am I being pushed to the side? Why am I not good enough? And I just want to tell you today, you are good enough. You are good enough. And today's episode is also just another reminder that you're not meant to be everyone's perfect match. So if a relationship doesn't last and it doesn't work, don't sit there and think, well, fuck, what did I do wrong? Or why am I not good enough? Or what's wrong with me? I want you to sit there and look at it and go, okay, well, they weren't the right person for me. If they were, they would have stayed around and we would have tried to make it work. They weren't interested in making it work. So clearly they weren't my partner. They weren't the one for me. That's how I want you to start looking at yourself. How I want you to start taking on your view on how you might come across to other people. Now, it's easy to get into this headspace where you think, especially when you're becoming a single parent for the first time, and this comment makes me cringe, but a lot of people do think this, and that's, no one's going to date me because I'm a single parent. Well, let me tell you, you're wrong, because that's not the case. And if someone thinks that about you, then they're not for you. And it's very easy to get into the headspace of thinking, well, who's going to want to date me? I live off government benefits. Who's going to want to date me? I'm overweight and I'm miserable. Who's going to want to date me? I've got 6 kids. It's all this, who's going to, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. Well, here's a question. If you think that you're not good enough, if you truly believe that about yourself, which is a good chance it's not true, but if you honestly do believe that, what are you doing to change that? Is there anything that you're doing? You might be sitting there complaining that I'm overweight. No one is going to want to date someone that's my size. Now, I don't like using weight as an example because I think it's very superficial. I don't like it. But it is quite common for people to get into that thought pattern where they think that they're not good enough because of their weight, or they're not that standard tiny little figure that they think most men want or men also think that about women. They think that women just want this nice, muscly, solid guy. So it is easy to get into that thought pattern where you think, okay, well, who's going to want to date me at this size? But if you honestly believe that about yourself, you think that you're not good enough because of your weight and your size, are you going home and just eating chocolate biscuits on the lounge at night time? And you're just getting up and drinking a can of Coke or just having something really unhealthy for breakfast, and then you're going to complain about your weight and say, I'm not good enough? Don't complain about your weight and your size if you're not doing anything to change it. If you're doing something, you're in the process of maybe joining a gym, or you've just joined, or you're going to the gym, you started a walking routine, or you've started something where you're getting a bit of exercise, then that's a good thing. That's one thing. But if you're not doing anything about it and you're just complaining about your weight, then it's time to escape that victim mentality. It can get quite easy to get caught up in that whole poor me thinking, I'm not good enough. What about me? What about me? What about me? Why do they have it and I don't? Why can't I look like that? Why can't I have this much money? Why can't I have that relationship? Poor me, poor me, poor me. You can't sit there and compare yourselves to other people and complain about yourself and not doing anything about it. And not do anything about it. And that's what the purpose of today's episode is about. Getting out of that negative headspace. And to do that, you've got to take action. Now, say, for example, you might have just gone through a breakup and you might be thinking to yourself, well, I'm not good enough. Who's going to want to date me now? Now, I want you to ask yourself this question. If you were able to meet a partner like the one you've just had and you thought they were the bee's knees, you thought they were the best thing since sliced bread, and now all of a sudden you're heartbroken because they're leaving you and you think you're not going to get someone else. Well, here's a question. If you were able to get this person, if you were able to be in a relationship with that person, then why do you think you cannot get someone equally as good, if not better? You can, trust me. Because if you can get that relationship, or you can be in a relationship that was like that you thought that was so good, then there's no reason why you can't do it again. So when you get in these negative headspace or negative thought patterns about yourself, where you're just hating everything about you, you're hating your weight, you're hating your job, you're hating your financial situation, you're hating your relationship status, whatever it is, I want you to sit there and just write it out. And now, not everyone's a writer. You might not want to do it. I'm not someone that writes things out. I do occasionally. I write little point form things of things I've got to do, and I cross it off my little to-do list. I love having a to-do list. And sometimes I write little goals and stuff and things I want to achieve and do, which is kind of like my to-do list. But I don't necessarily write out thoughts. And a lot of people do. A lot of people get into journaling, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I just haven't found, I don't know, I'm just someone that likes to think about things and reflect on things and go about it that way. And everyone has their own way of dealing with it. And if you're someone that likes to write things down, then do it. Journal it out. Write it out. And if you're not someone that's going to sit there and write out these negative thoughts every time they come up, then I want you to stop yourself and question yourself. When you start thinking to yourself, I'm not good enough because, I want you to ask yourself, why do you think that? Why do you think you cannot get someone better? Why do you think you cannot improve your situation? And most importantly, what can you do in that moment to improve your situation, or to take the steps to slowly change your situation? Now, one of the best things that you can do for yourself when you're in a phase like this, where you're just constantly hating on yourself, or you're hating on life, or you're hating on your situation, and you don't have many positive things to say about yourself or your life, one of the best things you can do is find a positive group of people to be around. If you're around people that are constantly in that negative headspace as well, you're just going to keep bringing each other down. Oh, my weekend was shit. Oh, I had no money to do anything. Oh, we didn't do this. Oh, I was just home all weekend, not doing anything. Same old shit, boring. And then you go, yeah, I did the same, boring old shit, had no money, couldn't do anything. It's just like that constant, let's see who can go lower. Let's see who can cry poor me the most. Those kind of people are not going to uplift you, and they're not going to make you feel good about yourself. If you've realized that you're caught up in this phase of just being negative and you want to get out of it, You need to find those positive people to be around that are going to make you feel good. Now, they don't necessarily need to be people that are going to be like your cheerleader and call you up every 5 minutes and check in on you. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to have people like that in our lives? But that's a bit overkill, isn't it? We just want people that when we see them, when we speak to them on the phone, they're going to give you that little bit of positive energy that makes you feel good, that when you walk away, it's like, yeah, that was nice. That was a really good chat. I appreciated that. Or that woke me up to something that I didn't even notice. Or that's great. They've invited me to go for a run with them. I'll do that on the weekend and that'll make me feel better. Anything at all. But just associating with people that are a lot more positive and have a positive outlook on their life and on the world will slowly start to make you feel better. Now, I'm not saying to necessarily remove people from your life, but if you have noticed this in yourself and it is something that you want to change and you notice that you are associating with a lot of people that are quite negative, then maybe it's time just to distance yourself from them or spend a little less time with them. And that's okay. You don't have to completely remove them, but maybe just limit your time with them. Or even just bring it up. If they're just constantly poor me, maybe just say, hey, listen, let's talk about something a bit more uplifting. Let's talk about something a little bit nicer because it's just starting to bring me down and it's probably making you feel down. So let's talk about something that's going to make us feel good. Pull them up on it. And if they don't like that, they don't like being pulled up on it, then just that's when it's your cue to say, okay, this is not for me, and just step back. Step back. Because if you're wanting to feel good, you're not going to get it when you're around this constant negative energy and constant drama. It's like when you're watching these reality shows and it's all fighting and drama and bitching and moaning. You just watch, it's like, fuck, how do they live like that? How do you live like that? I sometimes watch these shows and by the end of it, I'm just like, you just feel like you've been hit by a car sometimes because it's just so much negativity. And it's just like, these are fucking grown-ass women who are all probably fucking multi-millionaires that have got everything there for them, anything that they want. You know, they live a life of luxury. But clearly their communication skills are gone to the shitter because look at the way they all behave. And it's just so negative and toxic. And you just look at it and think, holy fuck. No wonder why there's so much fighting amongst you all because you're all just so negative. And that's just it. When you associate with people like that, it just brings you down and it makes you feel like that and quite often can make you behave like that. So if you're wanting to change your negativity or your negative outlook or, you want to be more positive and be more uplifted, then slowly step away from those people. Limit your time with them. Pull them up on it if you think you can. Do it without any conflict. If it doesn't get any resolution, then step back. Step back because that's not what you need when you're trying to be in a better headspace. Another thing you can do, and I quite often do this with my daughter. Mind you, I have been a bit slack and I haven't been doing it as much as I used to, but I used to do this on a daily basis. And at nighttime, I used to lie in bed and reflect on 5 good things that happened in my day. And coming home from school pickup in the car with my daughter, I would always say to her, tell me something good that happened today. And that's one way to make you feel good because quite often, especially now, she's getting to that age where it's pre-tween and that, that sassiness is coming into play. If you're familiar with me, you hear me. It's all, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't even want to go there, but it's sassy. And so I find it really important or such an essential tool when she's constantly in that headspace when the girls are getting a little bitchy and there's things happening and they focus on things that are just so irrelevant and unimportant, but to them it's their world, it's everything. So that's why I try as much as often or as much as I remember to ask her the question, tell me something good that happened in your day. Because it reframes her thinking, it gets her attention off all that negative shit. It's like, oh. And quite often she has to sit there and think about it. And she's like, I don't know. And I'll be like, anything at all. Anything at all. You woke up in a nice comfy bed. Anything. There's got to be something good that happened in your day. And that's another way to slowly start to reframe your thinking. And if you don't want to ask a question to anyone, but I think it's a great way to do it. With your kids, ask them. Sit down at dinner time or at breakfast. Now, breakfast is probably too early. But like if you do school pickup every day, if you do after school activities or sit down at dinner time, whenever you can, just ask them. Okay, kids? Let's all go around and see one thing that happened good in your day. And it just makes you feel good. You're focusing on something more positive. And they will be inclined to ask you that question. They'll be like, what about you, Mum? Or what about you, Dad? Tell us what happened good in your day. So focusing on that. So asking the question to your kids. And even if you don't want to do that, you want to start slowly. Do it with yourself in bed at night time. Just think about 5 good things that happened in your day. And again, it could be something as simple as just having running water. You've got a mobile phone that's paid for, and that's how you access everyone. There are people in the world who probably can't even afford to have one, but you've got your mobile phone where you can use it for the internet, you can use it for photos, you can use it for everything. It's at your hand whenever you need it. That's something to be positive about, something to be happy for. Some people are not happy for mobile phones, but that's just a little example. There's anything. You could be grateful and happy for the fact that you've got hot running water. Just anything at all that you can be happy for in your day. It could be that you bumped into a random stranger and you had a really nice chat with them. So just focus on those little good things that are happening in your day. And if a day is too much whilst you're just getting started, maybe do it on a weekly basis. Some things that happen good in your week. So try and focus on those good things is another way to slowly switch your thinking to focus on the good as opposed to the negative. Another thing that I've done in my single parent journey, and as you go along, your life changes. I mean, we all go through that. And I went through a phase where when I first became a single mum, and I don't want to focus on this because this is not my story. It's not my whole story, but it's where I started. And I started off as a single parent with nothing. So whenever I have these moments where I'm just complaining about what I have, or we all get in those phases, don't we? You just get in those little negative Nancy moments and you have a little tanty and then you're like, hold up. This time a year ago, I only had, or this time 2 years ago, I couldn't even afford to pay my electricity bill. As an example, I don't know anything. So look at where you've come. Look at what you've achieved. Maybe this time 12 months ago, this time 5 years ago, however long ago it was. Look at what you've achieved in this time frame. And that's another thing to make you feel good in yourself. Looking at your progress, looking at where you've come. You might have been in a spot where you couldn't afford to do groceries and you were just buying cheap frozen pizzas and cheap 2-minute noodles. And yes, I'm saying that because I did that myself. And now you can afford to do huge fortnightly shops and you can constantly have your fridge and pantry filled with nice, good food. That is something to be happy for. You have made progress in your life, and that's what it's all about, making progress. Making progress. So don't be hard on yourself because you're not where you want to be. You're not at the weight you want to be. You're not at the relationship you want to have. You're not in the home you want to have. You're not in the job. But look at the progress you have made. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's slow steps. It's a slow, gradual process. So if you can't see where you have come, look at what you've done. Look at what you've achieved. Now, you might be someone that's just broken up. You might be just new to the world of single parenting and you might be thinking, well, fuck, this time last year, I was actually in a really big fucking home. I had a nice relationship, a nice marriage going on. Now I'm in a shitty little rental. I'm single and I'm constantly screaming at my kids because I'm just doing this all on my own. So those kinds of situations you might be thinking, well, fuck, Leanne, I am not in a better situation than I was 12 months ago. But take it slow because I guarantee this time in 12 months' time, you will see positives. You will see where you have grown. You're restarting your life again, so to speak. And that's hard. It's not an easy pill to swallow to have to rebuild your life from scratch all on your own. But look at where you've come from maybe where you first broke up. And now you're doing things around the house that you've never done before. You're getting out there and making new friends. You're doing stuff that you haven't done. So maybe financially you're not in a better situation, but you're doing things, you're doing other things that have made you grow as a person. So look at it that way. Don't just focus on your bank balance or the house that you live in. Focus on other things that you have done as a person since becoming a single parent and how fulfilling and how rewarding that is that you've done that all on your own. So those are the things to focus on when you're getting all negative Nancy and all upset on yourself because you're not where you want to be. And focus on those good things that you've done. Now, there's 2 really powerful quotes that aren't written by me. I wish I could say they were, but no, they're not. But I want you to think of them when you're in this headspace where you're just not feeling good about yourself. And one is, if it doesn't challenge you, it's never going to change you. If it doesn't challenge you, it is not going to change you. So if you want growth, if you want to feel better about yourself, if you want things different to happen in your life, then start challenging yourself. Start putting yourself out there. Nothing in your world is going to change if you keep doing the same thing and expecting something bigger and better to happen. If you want big and better results, you've got to start putting big and better effort. Your results will match your effort. So if you want to feel good about yourself, start doing those things. Start making changes. You're not just all of a sudden going to feel good if you're not doing anything to make it happen. Start challenging yourself. What can you do? Get out there and go meet up with a friend that you haven't seen in a while. Go to a comedy club, even if it is on your own. Do something. Challenge yourself. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. And you will grow and you will start to feel better. And it could be something so small, whereas you're going to a coffee shop that you've never been in and you just walked in and got a coffee, and maybe you felt intimidated in going there because it was always so busy and you just felt uncomfortable because it was busy, and you went in there and got a coffee and you're like, oh, okay, it wasn't that scary after all. And I don't know, maybe that's an example. For me, it wouldn't worry me. But there are other people out there that get into the comfort zone of going to the same coffee place, and they might get intimidated being around large crowds or people who they don't know and haven't seen before. And so if that's a big thing for you, then do something little like that. And you might think after you've done it, oh, it wasn't so hard. It wasn't such a big deal. Do these little things that push you out of your comfort zone, and that'll make you feel good. I guarantee it will. Now, there is another quote, and I'm not even going to try say it because I'm going to fuck it up, but I can't for the life of me remember the wording, and I've been trying to look it up and I can't find it. But it goes something along the lines of, there is people out there that are achieving a lot more than you, but have a lot less. The only difference is their level of confidence. So I'll say that again. There are people out there in the world that have far less than you, but are achieving far more than you because they are confident to put themselves out there. And that's so important. If you want something, don't sit there and go, I can't because they might think this, or I can't because they might think that. You might be a business owner and you're wanting to do more with your business, but you're thinking, I can't, because you don't have the confidence to do it. You're worried what people are thinking. You're worried what they're going to say. You're worried about getting judged. Who cares? They're not paying your bills. So just remember, if you want to get out there, you want to be successful, you want to do stuff to make you feel better, then work on your confidence. Get confident in yourself. And the best way to do that is to get rid of that negative self-talk and reframe that with, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Now, I'm not going to say that you should just sit there and say all these affirmations. Yes, I'm beautiful. Yes, I'm successful. Yes, I'm wealthy. Yes, I can get this. Yes, I can get that. I mean, it's good to do that, but you've got to put some action behind it. These affirmations are meaningless if you're not doing anything about it to make it happen. So just remember, the first part in making change is recognizing that you need to change. So the fact that you're listening to this and you want to get out of that negative headspace and you want to change that, that's a start. You've taken the first step. The next step is to take action. Take some action. Start doing some things where you can feel better in yourself. And you can start looking at yourself in a different way. And whether it's any of these things that I just discussed, from changing the people that you hang around with so you're associating with people that are more of a positive mind frame. And like I said, I'm not telling you to get rid of friends. Maybe limit your time with certain friends if they're not uplifting you and they're not making you feel good. Focus on those things in the day or week or however often it's happening, however often it works for you, I should say. And think about those things that have happened in your day or week that are good. Things that you can be happy of, things that you can be proud of. And have that discussion with your kids. Okay, kids, tell me something good that happened in your day. And it also makes you feel good. Even though it's them telling you something that happened in their day, it still makes you feel good about yourself. Because you like it when your kids are happy, don't you? We want to see our kids happy. So have that discussion with them and get them on the bandwagon of being in that positive mind frame. Because if they see you constantly doing, I can't, oh no, I can't, and you've got no confidence and you're not going to put yourself out there and you're just negative on yourself, they are going to model that behavior. Kids model what they see in their parents. So if you're constantly, I can't, your kids are going to start picking that up. So if you don't want to repeat that pattern with them, start changing it. Start making those changes. Ask them the question, tell me something good about your day. And when they start being all negative, Nancy, I can't. One thing I always say to my daughter when she says I can't, I always say to her, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear I can't, especially if you haven't tried. There's no such thing. I'm not accepting that. Try it. And if you can't do it then I get it. I understand. Always put in the effort. And that goes with everything when you're wanting to change your thought process. Don't sit there and say, I can't change it. This is who I am. Or I can't change it because I'm just fat. I can't change it because I've just got no money. I can't change it because I'm a single parent. Yes, you can. That does not determine who you are. I can tell you now, there are single parents out there who are fucking successful and have made it and done it on their own. Don't tell me that because you're a single parent, no one's going to want to date you or you can't get ahead in life. That's BS. Get out there and put yourself out there. Get that confidence in yourself to know, you know what? Fuck it. I can do this. There are a shit ton of single parents out there that own their own business and have done that as a way to work around their own kids. They've built a business so they can be a parent and be there for their kids and run a business and earn an income. And they've done it so successfully that they've earned a fucking shit ton of money from it. Put yourself out there. Now, I'm not telling you what to leave your job and become a fucking business owner either, because it's hard work being a business owner. There's a lot of behind the scenes shit that goes on. But using the excuse as being a single parent of not being able to get ahead is an excuse. Change that thinking. Okay, I'm a single parent. I don't have much in my bank account. I'm living week to week. What can I do to change this situation? What can I do differently? Can I maybe start recycling cans and I can get some money from that? Can I start doing a little bit of surveys here and there and I can get money from that? Can I start investing my money? Can I start putting my money in a term deposit account? Can I don't know, start thinking outside the square. Don't keep thinking in this mind frame of I can't, when you're not doing anything to change it. So that's my quick little take on today about getting rid of that self-doubt and that negative talk. Stop hating on yourself for all the wrong reasons. No one in this world is perfect, and nobody handles things in a perfect way, and nobody does everything perfectly. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. We all make mistakes. We all fuck up. We're all human. We all just wing it as we go. So don't hold yourself or hate on yourself, I should say, because you've made a mistake in life. Don't hate on yourself because you feel like you're not where you want to be. Don't hate on yourself because you're not happy about your situation. Don't hate on yourself because you just think you're not good enough. If you truly think this, then what are you doing to change it? Or do you just like that? Do you just like that mentality where you say, I can't do it because, and that's just your way of getting out of things? No, that's a bad excuse. Don't do it. And like I just said earlier, your kids model your behavior. They model what they see in their parents. And if they see their mum and dad constantly saying, I can't do that. I've got no money, I can't do that. Then they're going to grow up thinking that, oh, we can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. Lead by example with your kids. Lead by example and start changing that thought pattern, because yes, you fucking can. Yes, you can. And you are worthy of having the life that you want, but you are not going to get it when you're constantly in that poor me frame of mind. You're not going to get it when you're playing victim and you're playing negative Nancy. If you want to have a better life, if you want to change anything about your situation, start taking those small baby steps to make it happen. And don't get put off because maybe a month down the track you haven't achieved what you wanted to achieve. No. These things take a fucking lifetime. When you set out to do something and you set out to change in yourself, it's a constant growing process. You're constantly evolving, you're constantly growing, you're constantly changing for the better, to be a better person. So don't get put off because you haven't seen a change or you haven't had any miraculous miracle land on your lap in the next couple of weeks. Take it slowly and focus on these small little things that are happening that you can be appreciative of, because they're out there. There are lots of things that you have that you can be grateful for. And I don't want to say it. There's always people out there that are worse off. I don't want to say that because our own situation and our own story is unique to us. And compared to maybe where you were, it is a shitty situation to be in. But you do have to focus. It could also be a lot worse. But if you want to make it better, you need to start with changing the way you're looking at things, changing the way you're talking about yourself, changing the way you're talking about your life. Don't be negative and miserable and whinging and saying, no, I'm just staying home. I'm not going to go out. And people ask you to go out on weekends and then you decline the offer. And then come Monday, you're at work and people ask you what you did. Oh, nothing. Just sat on the lounge. It was miserable, boring, same old. Well, why? People invited you, but you declined the offer. And then you sit down and go to work and whinge because you did nothing. Start doing something. Start accepting offers. When people ask you out, take it. Don't sit there and go, oh, they're only asking me out because they feel guilty. Who gives a shit? I guarantee they wouldn't. If they didn't want you to come, they wouldn't invite you, full stop. But if they're inviting you, they want you to come. And who cares if they don't want you to come? Just take it up. Take up the offer, because you might go out and you might actually enjoy yourself and they might actually enjoy your company too. And they might ask you out more often. But also in saying that, don't be scared to ask other people out. Don't sit down and wait for it to fall on your lap. Don't sit there and wait for people to come to you and invite you out, or for people to invite you to their house. You can start inviting people. You can start inviting people to your house. You can ask people, say, hey, do you want to catch up for a movie? Do you want to go out for dinner? Do you want to grab a coffee? Don't be scared to put the invite out there. You can extend the olive branch. And doing things like that will make you feel good. But do not take it personally if they decline your offer. Because people don't decline because they're being arseholes, unless they are a complete arsehole. But more often than not, people will decline because they're busy. They've got something on. So usually when people decline, they might say, thanks for the offer, but I can't, but maybe next week or the week after. And if they do decline because they're an arsehole, then you don't want them as a friend. So don't take that personally. Take that as a, whoop, thank you, I've learnt who you are and I won't ask you again. Don't take things so personally in life. Everyone is on their own little journey. Everyone handles things in their own little way. And everyone's doing the best they fucking can. And some people are not doing as good as others, but that's their own journey. That's their path. And that's why I'm here to help put these little positive sprinkles in your life that will slowly help you on your journey, and that will slowly help you to make you feel better and get out of that mindset that single parenting is hard, single parenting is shit, single parenting is lonely. It's fucking horrible. I wouldn't want to ever be a single parent. I can't be a single parent. It's embarrassing. I can't leave my husband or my wife. No, I can't do that for my kids. Get that shitty stigma and that negative talk out of your head. There are so many positives about single parenting. Now, I'm not saying that in a way that you should never repartner again. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying to, whilst you're in it, to find the good in it. Find the fun in it. Find the happiness in it. And when you're feeling good in yourself and you're feeling happy and you're focusing on the good things, it's so much easier to then meet someone and you're not so focused on whether or not you will or will not find a partner, because you're just focused on having fun in your life. And when a partner comes along, then that's just an added bonus. It's just an added bonus. It's not something you're constantly hustling for or stressing about. I've got to get a partner, I've got to get a partner, I've got to get a partner, because you want them to fill that void. You're not focused on filling that void because you're filling that void with yourself, with your own happiness. You're focusing on yourself and making yourself feel good. And that's what we want you to do. Get rid of that negative self-talk. Get rid of all that self-doubt and start doing things that make you feel good. Find the happiness in your world. Find that light. Make yourself feel good. And then that person will come in time, at the right time. All right. That's enough from me today. But I hope you all got something from this. I really do. And as I always say, if you do want some more help, and you want to chat and you are struggling to get out of this negative mind frame, then feel free to reach out. Let's connect. Let's have a chat. I do have free chats available where I can just speak to you and see where you're at and see if I am someone that you align with and that you want to work with. So let's have a chat from there. And if you're not ready to do that, you're not ready to talk to me, then that's okay. I understand. I won't take it personally. But I do have the ebooks available for that purpose if you are not ready, and they are at a minimal price, maybe the price of a cup of coffee or two. And they're also available on my website. And I have the links for all of those, for the coaching, the ebooks and everything, my socials. They're all in the show notes below. So jump down there if you want any more information. I would love to chat to you. And also, just lastly, don't forget to share the show with your single parent friends. If you see someone talking about an experience or something they're going through in their single parent life, share them, share the show and get them on board, because I guarantee it will help them. And that's what we want. And give me a review. Love to hear the reviews and comments and questions and anything, because it also helps the show when it gets it seen gets it seen and heard amongst more ears around the world. And that's what we want. So thank you, everyone. And I really hope you got something from this episode. And let's be more happy. Let's be more positive and find the good in your situation. Get rid of that negative talk and that self-doubt. All right, guys, thank you again. And until next time, I'll be in your ears then. Thank you for joining us on the Life After Plus One podcast. If you loved what you heard today and looking for some further support, then jump onto our website, lifeafterplusone.com. Plus, don't forget to check out our Instagram page for further resources and inspo. You can find all the links in the show notes. And remember, you're not alone on this path. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep exploring your amazing life after plus one.